All right.
I'll just be in order.
We need a gavel.
Yeah.
We do have one somewhere. All right, well, before we get started with the nutrition discussion, I just wanted to give some programming updates as far as BCN, what we've got going on, what's coming up, what's good. Let me know if you have any questions. Nutrition will be kind of a continued theme throughout the month. Next Tuesday evening, so a week from today, is our next cooking class partnered with Her Kitchen. The class is all about spices and herbs and how to cook with them and the benefits of using them. It's a plant-based kitchen, so no meat, no dairy. But they do a wonderful job and it's survivor owned. It's a cost of $22 to participate in that. And the registration is on the BCN website. Following that, on May 31st, it's a Saturday, we're gonna have our Reiki level 1 training. That'll be offered. We don't know exactly where the set location will be because we've had a snafu. So stay tuned, but if you're interested, I recommend just registering, get yourself on the list so you have a spot saved, and then we'll cross bridges when we need to. The cost for that is $50 and it includes your lunch and a certificate of completion at the end. And the practitioner that's going to be leading that is Melanie. And if you're interested in Reiki and Melanie and just getting a feel for it before you sign up for the training, on Thursday mornings, she hosts a virtual Reiki session for BCN. So you can just click right to our website and click on that Reiki if you'd like to experience that. Then coming up in June, on the 1st, it's a Sunday. We're going to be marching in the Pride Festival. So if you're interested in coming and having some fun, watching some people in some crazy outfits and just having a good time, let me know. You can send me an email or give me a call. But I'm organizing that. It should be a pretty casual day. There are going to be spots available if you want to come, but the idea of walking that distance is not possible. You can always come. There's going to be spots in the vehicle that you can always ride. So let me know if you're interested. And then that Friday, the 6th, is our Hope for Tomorrow 5K. I hope you've all heard about it by now. If you haven't yet, check out the race website. It's linked through our website at bcnwny.org. We are still welcoming people to register, sign up to walk, run. I think we're set on volunteers for now, but you can also make a donation right on that website. If you can't come, but you'd like to help out in some way, we welcome those donations, and they all stay local here within BCN or to our local metastatic research donation, which we make every year. So that's that. And then upcoming later this summer, we're going to have a day of renewal happening in July in Hamburg. Tentative date of the 26th, but that hasn't been fully hammered down yet. And then lastly, Walking Club is up and running. If you're interested in a casual walk on a Saturday morning, we're meeting once a month. The date would vary depending on the month, so definitely check out the calendar. And each month is a different location throughout Western New York. So you might find one really close to home, you might find something a little further away, but we're trying to spread it out throughout the community a little bit. We do have registration for that online as well, and collecting emergency contact info the day of. So just expect that if you join us. But I think that's all the blabbering I have to do tonight. Did I make it through everything?
I think you touched base on everything.
Okay, great. Well, with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to our lovely presenter, Leigh, and have at it. Yeah, we're gonna have a very relaxed, seated session this evening for ease of comfort. Of course.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leigh. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist. I work at ECMC in their outpatient oncology clinic. So we see all different types of cancer, you know, breast cancer is one of them. So just my quick background. My first bachelor's degree is in biomedical sciences from UB. Then I got a second bachelor's and master's from Juville in nutrition and dietetics. My specialties are listed there. My first job out of school was at Catholic Health. I was there for 5 years, and now I've been at ECMC for a little over 3 years. So that's my experience. Okay, so what do we know about the role of nutrition in cancer prevention? So the American Cancer Society, the National Comprehensive Cancer Network, and the World Cancer Research Fund International have all come to consensus that there's 3 main things that help prevent the incidence of cancer and cancer recurrence. So the first one is restricting alcohol intake. Drinking more than 1 alcoholic beverage a day is associated with an increased risk of cancer incidence and recurrence. And 2, we want to make sure we're adopting more plant-based eating patterns, so eating more fruits and veggies, less processed meats, and just processed foods in general. And then lastly, maintaining a healthy body weight. So especially with breast cancer, being overweight or obesity is correlated with an increased risk of cancer. And that's because fat tissue itself is actually metabolically active and it responds to hormones. So having, excess weight or weight gain can increase the risk of recurrence, unfortunately. So we'll talk about ways to maintain a healthy weight by consuming adequate amounts of protein, fiber, healthy fat, and complex carbohydrates. If you don't know what those are specifically, we're going to talk about that now. Okay. All right. So a little bit of trivia. Which food item contains the most protein?
Avocado. Chicken.
It's chicken.
Okay.
Chicken. Avocados actually don't have that much protein. They're a healthy food, but protein wise, they don't have a ton. So what is protein? Protein helps build and maintain muscle mass. It helps repair cells and make new ones. It promotes a feeling of fullness, which helps when we're trying not to overeat, when we're trying to maintain our weight. We want to eat a good source of protein at every meal. It also helps to control our blood sugar. So we always want to pair protein whenever we're eating carbohydrates, which we'll get to in a little bit. And just helps really, overall maintain the healthy weight by promoting the satiety, by promoting the healthy blood sugar levels. And then we have some examples. So lean meats, poultry, fish, seafood, eggs, nuts and nut butters, beans, lentils, quinoa, cheese, cottage cheese, yogurt, and soybeans. All good sources of protein, plant-based and animal products as well.
So you're not talking about the protein drinks, like Ensure or those?
So those have protein. So these are food sources of protein that's considered a supplement.
Gotcha.
Not really talking about supplements too much today, but they are a good source of protein if you feel that you're not getting enough from food. Good question.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
You have quinoa as a high source of, source of protein. All right, now, I was trying to maybe cut back on carbohydrates, but like potatoes or pasta or rice or whatever. Now, is quinoa the best to if you want something that's a substitute for rice
Yes,
or pasta,
yes, it's a good substitute.
then that would be the
So it's-
choice?
It's a good source of protein. It has most of the essential amino acids in it. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein, and it's low carb, so it would be a good substitute.
Yeah, just bought some.
Okay. Our next trivia question. Choose a complex carbohydrate.
Whole grain.
Good job. Whole grain bread. Yes.
Way to go, Joe.
So 2 types of carbohydrates, the complex carbs and then the simple carbs, aka sugar. So complex carbohydrates are your whole grains, your multigrains, your whole wheat, stuff like that. It contains the fiber and often protein. So when we process our, bread so much that they become white, we're stripping it of all the fiber and protein. So we want them to stay complex. We want that fiber and we want that protein. Because they're slower digesting, it promotes satiety, helps control blood sugar, and again, helps promote and maintain that healthy weight. On the flip side, the simple carbs are basically just sugar. So because they don't have that fiber, because they don't have that protein, our body just goes sucks them up real quick and spikes our blood sugar when we're eating white breads or any kind of simple carbohydrate. So our blood sugar is less stable. We often feel hungry right after eating because it's not that slow digesting carb. It's easily converted to and stored as fat and often leads to weight gain. So some examples of each. So complex carbs, most whole fruits are considered, so fruit has sugar in it, but it's natural sugar and it's paired with the fiber, so we consider that a complex carbohydrate. Whole grain breads, sweet potatoes, oatmeal, quinoa, and beans. So your quinoa, your double dip, you got your complex carb and your protein. So that's a good source. And then versus your simple carbohydrates, of course, candy, donuts, soda, and your white breads, cookies, things like that. Any questions about carbs? Okay, moving on. Which food has the most fiber? Yes.
It's on beans because it's the magical food, you
Yeah.
need to eat them already too,
Right,
right?
that's what they
the
tell you when you're a
fiber.
kid. Exactly, yeah. So watermelon has a little bit of fiber. Fruit juice with no pulp has no fiber. If it had some pulp, it would have a little bit of fiber. And cheese doesn't have any fiber. So what is fiber? Fiber is a type of carbohydrate that the body cannot digest and absorb as calories. So as it's traveling through our digestive system, it's mostly staying intact. So for example, vegetables, they're very high in fiber. They're mostly all fiber. That's why they're really low in calories because we can't digest and absorb them as calories. It helps to add bulk to our stool and promotes regular bowel movements, promotes satiety, controls our blood sugar, and reduces cholesterol too. Fiber actually binds to cholesterol and is excreted. So if you have high cholesterol, eating more fiber can help lower it. And then some examples of high fiber foods. Beans and lentils, of course, blackberries, raspberries, your high fiber cereals, bran cereals, oatmeal, apples, pears, nuts and seeds, cabbage, and celery. Any questions about fiber? Next question, which contains healthy fat?
Avocados.
Very good, yes, awesome. So sweet potatoes, pretty low in fat, broccoli, apples, very low in fat, so definitely your avocado. So what is healthy fat? So we consider unsaturated fat to be our healthy fat, so monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fat. The healthy fat helps to nourish our cell membranes, so back in, I guess it started in like kind of the late 80s, early 90s, they're like low fat, low fat, low fat, they're removing fat from everything. And we actually found that it wasn't good to remove fat, and oftentimes it was replaced with sugar, which is, the culprit of a lot of chronic disease, but it's not nourishing our cells, so we weren't getting, our cell membrane nourishment that we need just to function, all of our bodily systems. So healthy fat also helps promote that satiety, helps the body better absorb our fat soluble vitamins, which is A, D, E, and K. So if you're not eating enough fat, you're not going to be absorbing and storing those vitamins as well as we should be. It increases our good cholesterol. So two different types of cholesterol, LDL and HDL. The healthy fats help increase your HDL, which is what we want. And these are examples. So olive oil, avocado oil, avocados, nuts, nut butters, seeds, and the whole egg with the yolk. You can eat egg whites if you want, but the yolk has all the nutrients, has the healthy fat, has the fat soluble vitamins as well. Questions on healthy fat?
Where did the idea of only eating egg whites come from? And like, why is it thought of as being healthy or something?
So this is a study from the 1970s or something about cholesterol. So eggs have cholesterol in it. And they said, okay, eggs are, have cholesterol. They're not a super high source of cholesterol, but they have it. So that's where that came from. So it's in the yolk. So if you remove the yolk, you're just getting the protein from the egg.
I see.
You're not getting the fat.
From other.
Yes, but now we know eggs are good. Eat your eggs, eat the yolks.
You can afford them.
You're right. Price comes down.
When you say nuts, you've got pictures of 3 specific nuts? Are those what is recommended, or is it
Any nuts.
any nut?
Yeah, pretty much any nuts. Almonds.
Covered.
Yeah.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, your almonds, walnuts, hazelnuts, they have the good healthy polyunsaturated fats. All right, coming up to our last trivia question. So choose the known or suspected carcinogens, meaning cancer causing foods.
No.
So your processed meats that contain nitrates. So sodium nitrite is the culprit of, cancer causing substances in these pink meats. So if you like your pink meats, your hot dogs, bologna, ham, like deli meats, stuff like that, read the labels and try to buy them that say sodium nitrite free. So that's what like creates that pink color. Barbecued or charred meat. You can grill your meats, but if there's a really big piece of like black char on it, we do recommend to cut that off. Cause that's the carcinogenic part. But eating the rest of the meat is okay. There's actually like a chemical reaction that happens when we grill it or barbecue it. The properties of the meat change into carcinogens, unfortunately. A lot of people don't know that. And then alcoholic beverages. So like I said at the beginning, more than 1 per day is associated with, increased cancer incidence and recurrence. Okay, so we'll talk, I guess, well, one had a little bit, but, so this is just saying like which, agency deems them to be carcinogenic, your nitrates, the alcoholic beverages, and then the barbecue meat. So I basically kind of already up there, but that's the science behind it. The HCAs and the PAHs are the changes in the DNA of the meat that causes cancer.
So you should eat meat more on the raw side? Or
What was that?
eat meat more on the raw side, so you don't have the.
So not
Sure.
necessarily, so you can bake it, so you don't usually, unless you're broiling it, if you're baking it, you're not really getting that char. It's mostly like grilled or like smoked meats. And you can eat them, just cut that black part off and don't eat it.
But you do know that's the most flavorful.
It's one of the fats.
And then like if you love to grill, like I said, you can do it, cut it off, or use a grilling stone that they sell. If you've ever seen them, you can put the grilling stone right on your grill and then the flame won't actually touch it, but it'll still heat it up.
Still the same for blackened fish at the restaurants.
Usually blackened fish is, yeah,
Like
it's
a
peppery.
spice thing, yeah.
Yeah,
What about charred vegetables, like people char corn
yeah, so,
and peppers, and then, put it on a sandwich or something
or
like
even
that?
like burnt toast and things like that,
Or
so.
burnt toast,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they're like a marshmallow, like a s'more, the burnt
Is
part,
that
so.
bad then?
It's
Is that-
not-
No?
The research isn't as conclusive with that. What is conclusive is the meat. So we're not quite sure about like the vegetables and the
I was gonna
marshmallows and
say, it
things yet.
might be something in the meat that when it's charred, it becomes this other thing.
Yep, yeah.
Whereas the
those
veggies
two
might be
compounds
okay,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, so at this time, we know it's meat, so the other stuff, we're not sure yet.
Okay.
So it's probably okay though. Okay. All right, so what's in our food? So our food has vastly changed over the last 100 years and even more so in the last 20 years. Which is pretty crazy. So we definitely want to limit our processed foods. Processed foods contain the additives and preservatives. I have the most common ones listed here. And studies have shown, especially more recent studies have shown that not only are these additives linked to cancer, but they're also are linked to cause obesity, which we know can cause cancer. So sodium nitrates, we already talked about that. Our artificial food colorings and dyes, we're trying to get rid of those. BHA and BHT are preservatives that are directly linked to cause cancer. High fructose corn syrup is linked to obesity. potassium bromate, titanium dioxide, sodium benzoate, and aspartame. So these are all either linked to cancer, potentially linked to cancer, or cause obesity. So the potentially ones, you know, they're not proven yet, but there's potential for it. So we just want to make you aware of it. So always read your food labels. So if you're not in the habit of reading them, maybe you can start, and I always say, if you can't pronounce or recognize 3 or more words, it's probably not the best to buy. This can also be applied to other household products like cosmetics, soap, and cleaning products. Try to always get ones that are free of parabens and phthalates. It'll usually say it on the label now, if they're free of those compounds, because those are more cancer causing as well, because they find parabens in breast cancer tissue and phthalates as well. Organic versus non-organic. So a lot of people always ask me, should I buy organic? Does it matter? So this is what I'll say about it. So organic foods are not sprayed with pesticides. The most common pesticide that we spray our food with is called glyphosate. It's the same active ingredient as in Roundup, so stuff we spray our lawns with. Our food has been genetically modified, GMO, to withstand the glyphosate or the weed killer. So if you are buying a non-organic, if you're buying non-organic, you can pretty much guarantee that it's been sprayed with glyphosate and it's genetically modified to withstand the glyphosate. It won't die. Organic food can't be sprayed with a pesticide because it's not genetically modified, so it will die. So basically, organic is a normal vegetable or plant that we've had for hundreds of thousands of years. The non-organic ones, or the genetically modified ones, stand the weed killer. So that's the difference. So now a lot of that happened in the last 20 years. So organic means no glyphosate. It basically just means regular food, the way we used to eat until we started spraying everything with pesticides. So always thoroughly wash all of your fresh produce to reduce the pesticide exposure. If you have 2 farms, one's organic and one's non-organic, you're spraying your non-organic farm with pesticides, the wind can blow them onto the organic farm, unfortunately, but it's a lot less. It's not like it's being sprayed directly. So even if you are buying organic, you still should wash well before you eat. So glyphosate has not been directly proven yet to be carcinogenic, but they said it's probably carcinogenic based on recent studies.
What do you use to wash your vegetables? I use vinegar and water. Is that usually?
Yeah, so vinegar, baking soda too, helps to lift the pesticide off the vegetables, and even just friction. So like a veggie brush, or even just using your hands and a paper towel to wash them, really good with friction, helps to get
Like, how about broccoli? So how would you do broccoli? Would you soak it in vinegar and water?
Yeah, you can, a little bit of baking soda, don't leave it in too long, because the baking soda can start to kind of make it mushy,
Baking soda and water
and vinegar.
and.
So
you get
all
water,
three.
yeah, so mostly water, and then add a little bit of vinegar and baking soda.
And it makes it bubble.
Yeah, and the
So
bubbling
clean
action
up.
lifts the pesticides off.
Can you trust a company that, or, you know, a grocery store that says this is this is organic versus regular? I mean, is it a?
We're supposed to, they do like quality control tests, so it is supposed to be marked correctly.
Supposed to be.
Yes. Yeah, buying local is good, so like, you know, we're coming on summer, if you wanna do like a local farm share, a lot of our farms don't spray their food, so you know you're getting what you're getting.
You can get your eggs cheaper that way too.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of Amish farms, or there, I know there's a few different farm shares, if anybody is interested in them, I can give you the names. Cause you know where it's coming from, you know, but they didn't spray it, so. Any other questions? All right, what's in our water? So estrogen for medications. So millions of pounds of unused medications are poured down the drain each year in the US. And this includes estrogen containing birth control pills. We also have the PFAS, which we call forever chemicals because they don't break down. So these chemicals have been around since the 1940s, but more recently, they've been used more widespread and they're leaching into our water systems, unfortunately. And these are estrogen mimicking chemicals, so they can lead to overstimulation of estrogen receptors and disrupting hormone balance. So why don't we want the estrogen? Because 80% of breast cancers are ER positive, meaning estrogen receptor positive. You probably already know this. So we don't want to be adding any more exogenous estrogen into our diets, into our water than we need to be, because that can increase the risk of cancer incidence and cancer recurrence in the ER positive breast cancers. So the solution is to filter your water. So try not to drink tap water if you can avoid it. You can drink bottled spring water. Usually that's low in these chemicals. Carbon filters help to reduce them, but they don't completely eliminate these chemicals. So that's like your Brita filter. So it does reduce, doesn't completely eliminate. The only way to completely eliminate is by reverse osmosis. And those filtration systems can be pricey. So your best bet is to drink spring water or get a Brita filter or a really heavy duty carbon filter, to help get as much out as you can.
I don't like the smell of the chlorine.
Mhm.
And so I let my water sit for 2 days before I drink anything, but I should also filter it.
Ideally,
All
yes, yeah, to get all that estrogen, the chemicals and everything out. So the PFAS can also be found in plastic food packaging, cleaning products and cosmetics. So I know it's not nutrition related, but well, the food packaging is a little bit, but just to make you aware of these chemicals. So like, for example, if you get takeout and your food is like steaming hot, like a bowl of noodles or pasta in a plastic container, the plastic actually can leach into the food. So right when you bring that home, you should dump it into a glass or a porcelain dish and try not to have it come in contact with that plastic as much as you
Is
can.
styrofoam okay?
Styrofoam's not great. Yeah,
So we don't have choices when we do takeout.
right, you don't typically, some people are doing like the paper, like the cardboard.
That's what I
which is
just
better.
asked through the page.
But if it is in plastic or styrofoam, right when you get home, just transfer it to a better container.
You know, a lot of the, the fancier restaurants, they like to give the take-home containers, those black ones, because that's like the kind of high style or something.
Yeah.
But I heard recently that that's the worst, is the black plastic. And you've got to be really careful about reheating
Yes.
in the black
Mhm.
plastic.
Yeah.
There's something in the black and even black plastic utensils.
Mhm.
Like I have a black plastic spatula, and that coming in contact with the heat, there's something that they use when they're making the black colored plastics that are detrimental.
You're absolutely right. So we should try to use, like wooden utensils as much as possible. So if you're using black plastic tools, especially with heat, like to, saute something, try to use wood if you can. And you're right, never reheat in plastic. Doesn't matter what color it is, just don't reheat plastic in the microwave. Always use like glass or porcelain or something like that. Yeah, so good point. To wrap up, so promote overall health, protein, fiber, healthy fat, every single meal and snack. It's like the jingle that I just like to sing in my head. Helps you remember that we want to always, pair up those three things with every meal to help keep us feeling full, keep our blood sugar stable, and help promote healthy weight. Always choose the complex carbs over the simple carbs. The simple carbs are basically sugar. These should be consumed in moderation, special occasions, birthday cake, of course, ice cream once in a while, things like that. Avoid your top 3 carcinogens as much as possible, the alcohol, the charred meats, and the sodium nitrate. Choose organic if you're able to. Try to avoid those additives, preservatives as much as you can. And then don't forget about physical exercise too, if you're able to, just 30 minutes of light walking. I know there's a lot of walking activities you have to plan on. positive impact on your overall health, your weight, your mood, everything like that. And then this, I'm not gonna go through, it's a lot of math, but if you're interested, if you're interested, how much protein should I be eating in a day? You can base it on
Oh my
your
God,
body
I thought
weight
you were like,
or on your target body weight. So if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to gain weight, this is how you do it. And then same with grams of carbs, how many with each meal and snack. I have general guidelines on there, so if you're trying to maintain your weight, that's how many carbs, trying to lose weight, and then snacks. Same with fiber, same for healthy fat. So I don't wanna give you a math lesson, but if anyone is interested in that.
The, how many grams of fiber you're saying for an average age of a woman? So it has no idea, it doesn't matter how old or young she is.
No,
Okay.
it doesn't apply to kids, so I would say 18 and up. But yeah, 25 to 30 grams of fiber daily, and then men a little slightly more. And then healthy fat typically between 50 to 70 grams daily. I don't know if anyone has seen this, the Healthy 10 Challenge. So I like this. It's a 10-week interactive program, so it's via email, it's free. You can sign up. Have you seen it? Exercise tips and recipes. And the recipes are actually really good. So if you're interested, you can sign up thehealthy10challenge.org. 10 weeks, so it's kind of nice for summer too, if you want to like get active and you stay accountable and put some good recipes. A good resource. Healthy 10
Is
Challenge.
that keep track of how many carbs and how much fat, how many
It-
the recipe item would be?
I think it does give you the
Write down what
breakdown.
you eat, or does it just give you?
It just gives you recipes information, but it gives you a breakdown in it. So you can do the math to figure out how much you need. If you,
Do you recommend a food scale? Like, are they all there cracked up to be to like maintain healthy meals and like plan the right portion sizes and stuff? Do you think getting a scale is worth it?
necessarily, so, because I'll tell you why. I mean, for the most part, our portion sizes are given in like measuring cups. So sometimes it'll be in grams, but for the most part.
Right,
we
you have
use,
to do, like,
measuring cups
conversion.
and things like that, and you could convert it if you need to. But the big one is like a lot of people like will weigh meat and things like that, because it's hard to kind of like eyeball it. But a good rule of thumb, if you don't want to use a food scale, my hands are kind of small, but the palm of your hand is usually 1 serving of meat, which is about four. Yeah, like the palm of your hand, or like a piece of chicken.
It's a lot.
Yeah, about 4 ounces usually, and it's about like 27, 28 grams of protein. So that goes for, like steak.
What about fish? Can you have a little bit bigger fish?
Yeah, you
I
can,
mean,
yeah,
it doesn't have as many calories, although swordfish does for some.
yeah, it's definitely a meatier fish, the sort of
Yeah.
fish. But it is, so meat and fish, like per ounce is the same grams of protein.
Okay.
I just asked you, what's the difference? I have trouble with collagen and protein, like if you want to drink a supplement or whatever,
Yeah,
you do both, I know they're a little bit different.
yeah, so, collagen protein is not considered a complete protein. They're just, yeah, there are different types of protein, so if you want your whey protein or your plant-based like pea protein, that's a complete protein. Versus collagen, which is just utilized as collagen protein.
I heard that's really good for inflammation, that's why I asked you.
Yeah, a lot of people like the collagen supplements, but keep in mind supplements aren't regulated. So whenever you buy a supplement like collagen or something like that, always make sure it's third-party verified. It'll say it right on the label, like NSF, USP, Consumer Labs, they're all third-party companies that will take it and test it and make sure it's in it, what's actually in it. So when people are selling this stuff online, it's not third-party verified, I'm always a little skeptical because you don't know.
What is collagen protein?
Good question.
No, that's okay. It's just this bone broth. I made
Yeah,
that.
so-
Oh, gotcha. I
Unlike
thought it
foods.
was like Ensure or one of those
No, so that's
protein.
whey protein.
Understood,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
You can
collagen
buy the powder.
comes from bone marrow, like, yeah, bone broth,
Gotcha.
but It's not a complete protein, but it is an important protein to have. But you'll feel like your whey proteins, whey protein isolate and hydroxylate, those are from cow's milk, that's what's in your boosted ensure. And then just some helpful websites and references, this is where I got a lot of my information from. Couple things at the bottoms of my iPhone apps. These are good for food and for just like products and laundry detergents and stuff like that. It'll tell you all the ingredients in there and whether or not, you know, they're safe. I mean, they're not like 100% accurate because if the company changes their recipe and they're not updated yet, but it's a pretty good guide on which products and foods are safe and healthy. Alright, so that's all I have.
Other than, so go on, Rachel. Dessert.
You still serve.
Nothing.
Dessert.
Talk dessert.
Okay,
Waiting for that.
with the exception of fresh fruit,
Mhm.
what are the top 3 healthy desserts that you have, that you didn't share with us?
Okay.
Haagen-Dazs.
Haagen-Dazs.
Taste preference, but how about yogurt? Do you like frozen yogurt?
Mhm.
No.
Next.
How about like a banana muffin? Like a chocolate chip banana muffin.
I make
That's what I
black bean
made for my
brownies
daughter.
out of a can of black beans.
Okay,
What do you make?
Black
Black bean
bean
brownies,
brownies, yeah, I put a lot of walnuts in
Zucchini
it.
chocolate muffins too.
Yep.
okay.
Black beans.
Because you're adding some fiber.
Mhm.
You can add protein too, like some people make protein cookies with peanut butter. and
Yeah, I was gonna
protein
say, can we do like
powder.
an oatmeal cookie? Would that be
Yeah.
like a step in the right?
All right,
Yes.
you've given me one, oatmeal cookies.
Oh,
I'll pull out, there you go. What about yogurt? I'm sorry, not yogurt. Is that, yeah, yogurt, yeah, frozen yogurt, never mind. I've got 2 out of the 4, we're okay. I'm.
Tapioca, what is tapioca?
Tapioca is a starch. I don't think there's much protein in tapioca. I think not sure. I think it's mostly starchy.
Cause I
or
like
protein.
tapioca.
Yeah.
Milk and
I
it.
just got it,
So
I
this
make
is-
it from scratch, so I put an egg in
And milk.
And egg is protein.
and the egg is the protein.
Yeah.
And milk. Yeah,
And
like
milk,
3 cups of
and
milk.
the milk,
Yeah.
yeah.
I raised it.
No, I like that for dessert. And I always, when I make it now, I even cut the sugar that they tell you.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
3 tablespoons.
You never need as much as they tell you.
Yeah.
Yes.
no, either.
And you can replace it with like banana or anything else that's like a natural sweetener.
Would maple syrup be a healthier sugar option than like granulated sugar?
It's more
Or is it-
natural. It is more natural, but it is still a simple
It's still like a
sugar.
process.
Yeah. It is more natural, so. I'd say yes.
So it's,
Yeah, applesauce, banana, like mashed banana, a little bit of maple syrup. It's better than that white sugar.
Yeah.
It's less processed.
Yeah.
Is honey better than sugar?
Again, it's kind of the same thing as maple syrup. It's still sugar. It's still gonna get processed as sugar, but it is more natural, so. You know, there's less of a chance that it went through like processing and got contaminated and stuff like that.
Send too honey in my tea all the time.
Yeah, that's okay, a little bit. It's okay.
Any other questions, thoughts, musings?
How much water should you drink a day?
Based on body weight, but typically 64 ounces or more, so 2 liters is the minimum. Did I do the calculation for fluid? But for fluid, you could use. No, your body weight divided by 2.2, if you wanna write this down. Times 30. Body weight divided by 2.2.
Okay, starting. Body weight.
Your body weight divided by 2.2
I don't know, 2.2
times 30,
times 30.
and that's gonna give you milliliters,
Which more liters, and we convert that
you have
to,
10 ounces, you divide by 30.
convert that to ounces, and convert that to glasses.
81 ounces. That sounds about right.
It's like 10 glasses of water, you got Karen, and 10 glasses.
They're going-
She'll be lucky if she drinks
64
one
ounces.
glass of water a day.
Do you count like tea or any other
Yeah,
form of
like-
liquid
like-
as
Like
hydration?
seltzer water.
Yes, so as long as it's not caffeinated, it counts. So like if you're drinking broth or soup that has broth, that's counting towards your fluids, seltzers.
Mhm.
Caffeinated tea and coffee, I don't necessarily count because it's dehydrating. So for every cup that you drink of coffee, you should drink a cup of water to replace the losses.
And what's the benefit of drinking the water?
Hydration. So hydration, sometimes actually, if you're dehydrated, some people confuse thirst and hunger. So some people that don't drink enough water replace it with food, but they actually were thirsty, that can lead to weight gain. So by staying hydrated, we like know our hydration levels, we know our thirst, and we can differentiate between thirst and hunger a little bit better too. Anything else?
Nice.
Yes.